Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Tonight on the SEC ESPN Network, it's a heavyweight battle between two of the best college women's basketball teams in the country. South Carolina meets LSU. Let's look at how the SEC has fared so far this year. 6 teams in the Southeastern Conference in the AP Top 25, including tonight's combatants, South Carolina at number 1, LSU at number 13. Welcome into the Maravich Center, everyone, with Victor Howell. I'm Lynn Rollins. This LSU team, 13 consecutive victories, wins over 3 ranked teams, trying to move to 3-0 in the Southeastern Conference, and transfer guard Alexis Morris has been a major contributor.
And what a game she had on Sunday to get the Lady Tigers to 2-0 with the win over Texas A&M. Her former team, averaging 14.5 points a game, shooting just a clip under 50% from the field, and against the Aggies, a career-high 30 points, 23 of those 30 in the second half, when she just told her teammates, get on my back and let's go. She was 4 for 9 from deep, and Alexis Morris has been a handful for opponents to face this season.
Now, this Gamecocks team has bounced back after an overtime loss to Missouri with a win over Mississippi State and remains number 1 ranked. Aaliyah Boston, simply one of the very best players in the nation.
And that's why she started the season as a National Player of the Year candidate right out the gates. Yes, she is a handful. Every time they hit the floor, she brings her A game, averaging 16.9 points, 10.4 rebounds per game for South Carolina, and how about this, shooting 57% from the floor. Lynn, she is a walking double-double, and everyone wearing an LSU jersey will know where Boston is at all times.
Let's check some numbers between these teams and see how they compare. Scoring average about the same. A lot of similarities, Victor.
One of the big things we'll be focusing on in this ball game will be not only the rebounding, especially for South Carolina because they love second chance opportunities, but also can you take those rebounds and send them into fast break opportunities? That'll be a key for both of these teams tonight.
Indeed it will. These teams have played quite a few times in their basketball histories, and LSU leads South Carolina all-time 22-16, although South Carolina is on a very major winning streak.
They've won the last 12 ball games in this series. It was a close one the last time they met in Baton Rouge, where they won just by 4. They also beat LSU in the SEC tournament. You have to go back to January of 2012 to find the last time that the Lady Tigers got the better of the Gamecocks.
LSU is in white. There is Kim Mulkey, resplendent in that purple outfit on the sidelines. There is hardly a seat to be had here that's empty right now. This is a big, big crowd. Dawn Staley on the other side, of course, has been remarkable in her career at South Carolina. This Gamecocks team in the dark uniforms, LSU in white, and we are underway in what will be a heavyweight battle every time these teams change possession.
It's going to be very important on the defensive end to see who can get some stops early and set up some rhythm. And LSU handled all the expectations and the atmosphere tonight.
Cook leans in at the free throw line and nails the first jump shot. Zia Cook starting her 79th straight game. Pointer, Cherry, Morris, Newby, and Afua, the opening quintet for LSU. LSU coming off a very stirring win over Texas A&M. Newby from the wing, yes. Each team has scored on its first possession. And South Carolina brings this lineup to the floor. Cook, Henderson, Beal, Boston, and Saxton. There are 11, count them, 11 McDonald's All-Americas on the South Carolina roster. Afua rebounds the miss from Henderson.
And on top of that, Dawn Staley brings in the #1 recruiting class in the nation.
Morris left open at the free throw line. She bags the jumper.
South Carolina has had a problem and an issue with help defense. They certainly had a problem in Missouri a week ago when Missouri beat them in overtime. Something to watch here. How many Lady Gamecocks have their heads turned away from the ball, not able to help out?
Morris coming off that record-setting performance of 30 points the other night against Texas A&M, and a traveling violation will give it back to LSU.
2 people took a shot on that one. Autumn Newby got run into a screen, and then Boston gets hit in the face coming off of there. Here's your scoring margin. Look at that, LSU 9th in Division I play. South Carolina just under 19 a game.
It would be very, very unlikely that either team reaches its scoring margin tonight. Pointer whips that pass inside. and it's taken away. Pointer had very little room to thread that ball.
That's a great look, just a little too much MPH on that one. Ease it up just a little bit. She whipped that one in there. It was too much for Newby to handle.
Neither one of these teams is a really often three-point shooting team except Cook. Rips that one from downtown. She's got 5 early points, a 5'9" junior from Toledo, Ohio, and she is on the Ann Myers Drysdale watch list. Truly one of the better players in the land. Afua backing in, spinning, loses her footing as she went to the left side, and it's a turnover that South Carolina will try to take advantage of.
Bang the knee for Aaliyah Boston, too, is something to look out for because she's so dominant for South Carolina.
5-4 Gamecocks. Leaning jump shot off the back iron, tipped around, offensive glass. Left side open jumper, no by Henderson. Another chance for South Carolina, but a traveling violation.
She looked like she wanted to kick that ball out to the wing and then realized she had a lane to the basket, but before putting the ball down, took the steps. That's a good opportunity, or a fortunate opportunity for LSU. That was a third chance for South Carolina.
Morris and Newby have the buckets for the Tigers in the early going. Zia Cook has all 5 points for the Gamecocks. Morris tries to reverse the dribble, cut off, gets it down to Afua, passes to the wing. It was nearly intercepted, but Cherry is there to recover for the Tigers. Pointer sneaks inside, scoops and scores.
They're going to be able to do that a lot tonight unless South Carolina changes its defense. They are vulnerable to giving up the drives.
Look at the rebound margin for South Carolina, really cleaning up the glass.
Yeah, that margin there, number 2 in the country for that. And you see 46 rebounds a game, that's 6th best.
Shot clock at 7 right now. The catch underneath, and a spinning layup rolls in by Boston. She is big, she is maneuverable, she has a variety of shots. She is one of the really greatest players in college women's basketball today.
Unless you've got a solid double team on her, she's so good she can spin left or right, but she has a nose to get to the rim.
She also stands 6 feet 5 inches tall, and Newby is called for the travel and looks up court in astonishment. And the Tigers will make their first substitution as Hannah Gusters, the 6'5" sophomore from Dallas by way of Baylor, checks in. And let's go back and look at South Carolina's last bucket.
Look at where she gets positioned there. She's inside the lane between the blocks. Instead of going towards Pointer in a double team, she takes Newby the other direction, spins around and powers it in for 2.
She'll try it again right here, backing in on Afua. A lot of contact, no whistle. Boston gets it back, and that rolls across the rim. It will stay with South Carolina.
Boy, but did you see how fast that step was? When the ball went back to her, how quickly she went right side, right to the backboard, and she had Afua playing catch-up. Cook,
fadeaway jump shot. Rebound to LSU. It's Pointer on the move. She is a very good backcourt rebounder, and she goes to the bucket and scores with the right hand on the left side.
Just keep a note of that now. That's 2 drives for Kayla Pointer to the basket, uncontested. Once she beats her defender, there's no help side helping out for South Carolina.
Just to illustrate numerically about her rebounding prowess, averaging 6.8 rebounds a game from backcourt. That's the 2nd highest total on the team.
She has some very good rebounding guards. Jalen Cherry rebounding at 4. Here it is, a hesitation dribble, and look. You see Boston's just standing there watching her. Once she got past Henderson, there was nobody there. Boston just took a good view of her driving past her for the layup.
Boston backs out and takes the 3. South Carolina uses Saxton inside. Victoria Saxton, a 6'2" senior from Rome, Georgia. That's her first bucket. She had 13 points against Mississippi State in the last game. That's a season's high, and her only double-digit scoring game this year. 6 lead changes already, Victor. Back and forth we go. 9-8 South Carolina. Now it's LSU up front. Cherry bangs one home. Cherry scored all 10 of her points against Texas A&M in the final 10 minutes.
She's picking up this game where she left off. That's an offensive foul on the inside. Faustina Afua fighting for position. As we were talking about Jalen Cherry picking it up from the way she ended the A&M game. Afua holding position on the inside. Saxton with the foul. And on the offensive end for LSU, the dribble between the legs, the hesitation, and Jalen Cherry hits the jumper. 4:28 to go in the first quarter.
10-9 LSU leading South Carolina. Both of these teams have been swapping buckets. LSU is 5 for 5 from the floor. South Carolina has offered 10 shots and has made 4 of them. Let's look at Jalen Cherry go to work.
Well, as we mentioned, she had all 10 of her points against the Aggies in the fourth quarter to help the Lady Tigers get the win. Here's a nice move on the hesitation. Look at the step back where she leaves Bree Beal 3 feet behind her from the empty jumper. And Jalen Cherry has been one of the more interesting players to follow in her LSU career. She might be the most gifted athlete on LSU's team overall and has been for quite some time. But she always battles herself, Lynn, in terms of getting frustrated with her game. And when it gets frustrated, she sort of checks out a little bit. But this season under Kim Mulkey, her numbers have certainly improved with the way she's played. Her first 4 years here, averaging just under 4 points a game and 14 and a half minutes. But look at this year. She's doubled her point production and almost doubled her minutes per game. And Kim Mulkey has talked about Jalen Cherry and says, look, it's not a lack of confidence. She's just so hard on herself. She takes herself out of the game. Sometimes she has to sit on the bench and realize it's okay. But Kim Mulkey has told her, we will not have success if we don't have you engaged in this ball game. And the numbers show you she's been engaged this season more than any year here at LSU.
She has, and she has always played tennis shoe squeaking defense.
Even when she's struggling on offense, you're right. She's been the defensive go-to. She will stop the other team's lead player. She's known for drawing charges. She has no problem hitting the floor. But it's been very nice to see Jalen Cherry coming out this year with a lot more confidence and not being as hard on herself as the numbers show it.
Pointer has 4 points. Cherry has a bucket. Newby has a bucket. And Morris has a bucket for LSU. The Tigers by 1.
South Carolina has 4 rebounds, all of them offensive for South Carolina, but in terms of second chance points, just 2 points. LSU has 2 rebounds, both of them defensive.
The lob inside on the backside is off the hands of Pointer, but it was touched last by South Carolina. That was a set play, it appeared, coming out of off the bench.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That was a set play. High screen for Pointer to go down, but it was a nice job by Henderson on defense to stay with her.
LSU having difficulty cleanly putting the ball in play. 16 on the shot clock, 4:14 remaining in an action-packed first quarter in front of a near-capacity crowd in the Maravich Center. Morris stops, shoots, got it.
Boy, what a great job of coming off that screen, too. Autumn Newby set the screen. Morris curled right off of it, straight to the free throw line. Ball put in a perfect position to step right into that 15-footer.
Morris is averaging 14 and a half a game. Some of that built on that 30-point performance against Texas A&M. Newby was holding her ground defensively and forced a bad pass. LSU on the other end. Cherry, yes, off the window! 4 points for Cherry. This is the largest lead in the game. LSU with a up by 5, and the layup cuts it to 3. LSU's defense on the right side never was able to shut down the driver. That was Henderson.
Travel for LSU, which will give the ball back to South Carolina. Faustina Fua taking a quick breather, and Hannah Gusters comes back into the ball game.
Gusters, a 6'5" sophomore from Dallas, averaging 6.4 points, 3.4 rebounds. She's had some nice moments in the first half of the season for the Tigers. Boston knocks down Newby, and a blocking foul?
Called a block.
Oh
Kim Mulkey was making the motion for the official offensive, but they called it on Newby with the block.
Newby really takes contact here. Was Newby established defensively? No, she wasn't. There was a lot of contact, but I've got to go with the official who made that call.
And I think from that angle for Kim Mulkey, you could see Boston dip the shoulder, but Newby wasn't close to being set. And that's why they called it on a defensive foul on Newby for not being in position.
This has been a very, very physically pounding game inside on both ends so far. Aaliyah Boston, a junior from the U.S. Virgin Islands. Jerry decides not to take the deep shot. Pointer with the leaner, can't get it to go.
Custer's had position on the inside. I think Pointer might have wanted to get another dribble closer.
Offensive rebound and a foul called, and free throws coming for Lily Grissett. Grissett, a 6'2", fifth-year player. She's a graduate student from Durham, North Carolina. She has not been able to play the whole season so far because of some injuries.
It's 5 offensive rebounds now for South Carolina.
The Gamecocks can tie it if these free throws are good.
Grissett has a little history against Kim Mulkey, too. South Carolina played Baylor back in December of 2018. She had a double-double against the Bears and Coach Mulkey.
That rolls around and drops through for Grissett. We've got a 1-point game, 4:27 to go. One of those scoreboard clocks has not moved, Victor. Still says 4:27. But there's about 2.5 to go. The other clock is working. Free throw line jumper, yes, for Afua. And that's a difference in her game this year. She's been able to back out and with accuracy hit that 15-footer.
When she doesn't rush it, she likes getting to that elbow area and hitting the shot, and that would be big for LSU to pull Boston away from the basket.
Boston gets the tip.
Morris needs to grab that. She tried to tip it to a teammate. It was all hers.
South Carolina has been really effective on the offensive glass, but cannot hold on to the ball with this possession, and the Tigers will have it with a 3-point lead. 2:02 to go.
Now, Alexis Morris made up for it because she had that rebound, gave South Carolina another opportunity, but she fought for it, reached in, slapped the ball off the leg of the Gamecocks. 5 turnovers for South Carolina now.
16-13. LSU leading as we slip under the 2-minute mark. Nice pass down to Newby. Beautiful feed underneath to Afua, and she cannot complete it.
Point-blank range.
Oh.
That was
Afua
as nice
will make that 99 times in a row, but she missed that one.
That was as nice a ball movement you can find. Driving the lane, down on the block to the other block, and she just missed it.
There are players hitting the deck everywhere. It's not only 1 or 2 people blocking out. It's basically 6, 7, 8 people trying to get involved in this game. It has been extremely physical.
Well, this is one of those games where it's all hands on deck. You've got 4 quarters, 10 minutes each. You just give it your all with the #1 in the country. Doesn't happen all that often.
This is an ice pack game.
They'll be using a lot of them.
Pointer pulls up, shoots, and gets the roll. 6 points in the first quarter for Kayla Pointer. Here comes Alexis Morris. Snakes around, scoops it up, misses a reverse layup. It hung on the rim off the backboard and then rolled away. LSU frequently in this first quarter, Victor, has been able to get down the lane and get into layup scoring position.
That's what I was saying off the top of the broadcast. South Carolina is vulnerable to that. That's how Missouri beat them. You realize they lost at Missouri with a team that was missing 5 players because of health protocols. Missouri had 8 players dressed out, and in overtime they lost one of their starters. But they attacked the rim, they were aggressive on rebounds, and made some big plays. South Carolina oftentimes gets caught standing and watching and not helping out on defense. There are lanes to get to the basket.
South Carolina turns it over again. That's been a problem. They've been really good on the offensive glass, but several times they have turned it over. 7 turnovers now for South Carolina. LSU by 5. There's about a 10-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Morris pulls up, lets it fly, leaves it short. Afua is fouled. She could not get it up over the rim, but there was a player hanging on her arm, and Faustine Afua will shoot free throws.
And how about the job of Afua to go up here? Morris' shot comes up short, but look at Afua battling there. Boston on one side, goes up for the shot. It comes up short, but she draws the contact.
Afua, a little more than 55% from the free throw line, but she's been shooting better the last few games. This is the largest lead. It's 6 for the Tigers as we play in the waning seconds of the first quarter. Henderson dribbles to the left side, leaves it at the free throw line, kick out, 3 seconds to play in the quarter, and an air ball comes down into the hands of Jalen Cherry, and that is the end of the first period, and the crowd comes to its feet. A capacity crowd, or nearly so, has seen an action-packed first quarter. LSU 19, South Carolina, the #1 ranked team in the country, 13. Tigers by 6 at the first break. LSU's Tigers, after one quarter, lead the #1 ranked team in the country, 19-13. The Tigers, of course, under the new leadership of Kim Mulkey, one of the most accomplished players and coaches that the game of women's basketball has ever seen.
Just not enough time to talk about all the accolades she has, the halls of fame that she has been inducted to. How about the fact that you have one game here where you've got Kim Mulkey and Gary Blair, and then you come into this one and you've got Kim Mulkey and Dawn Staley and everything she's accomplished at South Carolina.
There's Dawn Staley. Again, you could go on for days about what she has accomplished.
South Carolina under Staley on the road. How about this? 104-46. That's 69% winning percentages on the road. It's the best in school history. And the only program to have two 16-0 seasons in the SEC. 2016, South Carolina did it again in 2020.
LSU with a 6-point lead owns the basketball as we start the second quarter, and the lead is now 8 as Morris scores for the third time. Well, South Carolina is a bit shorthanded. Cardoso is a really good player, and usually the first player off the bench, Letitia Amihir, is also unavailable tonight. So they are playing just a little bit shorthanded, is South Carolina.
So here's the numbers that stand out for you from the first quarter. South Carolina was held to 36% shooting from the floor. LSU shot 69% on 9 of 13 shooting. And how about this? They didn't attempt a three-pointer. Built the lead, attacking the glass and not settling for long shots.
Cherry can't get the 15-foot jumper to go, but another good look for the backcourt Tiger.
Second chance points, just 2 for South Carolina, and turnovers, each team averaging 1 point per turnover. LSU has 7 points off of 7 South Carolina turnovers. South Carolina 4 off of 4 Tiger miscues.
Boston returns to the game after a very short rest. 9:14 to play in the second quarter. LSU 21, South Carolina 13. That's an option that usually is there. Boston just hanging around, taking that late feed and laying it home.
Every team would love to have that option when you've got somebody like Boston setting a high screen and making the defense commit.
Cherry with a little, I beg your pardon, Pointer with a little bit too much power on that layup. She got to the rim, though.
And look, she missed it, but yeah, that's the point. She got to the rim. We've seen Morris get to the rim with a miss, and we've seen Pointer get there 2 or 3 times with makes. The opportunity is there.
Pointer comes the other way after the steal. She'll take the 3. Missed it right side. And Jalen Cherry somehow comes out of that retinue of people underneath the bucket with the ball. Cherry leaning, feeds Pointer, scoops and scores! One backcourt player to the other. Cherry feeding Pointer. 8 for Kayla.
Great patience by Cherry to see Kayla Pointer, who didn't stop on the play, kept the curl going, bounce pass, leading her right to the bucket.
23-15, LSU with its biggest lead. And a foul called, I think, on Afua. If not, it's going to be Newby.
I think they're going to get Afua on that one. Watch out, Jalen Cherry waits and waits. Here comes Pointer, who doesn't quit on the play, and look at everybody. Olé! You've got Russell down there and Boston. Look again. They both just kind of do a little stab step, and they just watch him. It's Saxton, actually, and Russell just watching her run right by. LSU finding a lot of success attacking the rim.
Bree Beal at the free throw line. She had 33 starts as a freshman. That's a school record, and she holds that school record along with Zia Cook. Beal, a junior out of Rock Island, Illinois. She hits 1 of 2 free throws. 23-16. LSU by 7. Pointer is guarded closely by Henderson. This is Morris. She's able to save it. No, she cannot.
That's quick hands there by Cook. She got in there to try to distract and knocked it out of her hands, and Morris made an effort to try to keep it in bounds, but lost it off her fingertips.
Three-point shooting has not been a factor in this game so far.
That's going to be on Boston.
Yep.
Boy, she and Newby were battling on the inside, trying to establish position. And when Newby bodied her up a little bit, she stuck that elbow out. And at 6'5", it's tough to hide that one.
That's her second foul. Kualani Spurlock Welsh, the referee, made that call and then was explaining it to Boston. Billy Smith is umpire number 1. Brian Garland is umpire number 2.
There was no doubt there was contact by both of them. Oh, look at that fake. Oh, my. Little hesitation, stutter step by Kayla Pointer left everybody behind for the easy layup.
Pointer looked like a cricket in a bait box.
10 points for Pointer, the first of double digits.
Newby rejects it. It's put back up and it's slung in by Saxton, who stayed white-writhed. A 6'2" senior from Rome, Georgia. Wow.
South Carolina is going to try to make a substitution to get Boston out since she has 2 fouls. Be interested to see if LSU tries to attack her.
Morris fakes, leans, shoots, it bounces, it rolls away. It's slapped away underneath by Cherry. It was Jalen Cherry on the backside who was able to wrap that ball toward a teammate.
Once again, outstanding effort by Cherry on the offensive end. I'd go right at her if you're LSU, see if you can get number 3.
Boston cannot afford to get number 3, and she backed up a little bit.
She's backing up, absolutely, because they've got a sub at the scorer's table waiting to come in. She backed away from that one.
27-18 LSU, leading South Carolina with 5:50 to play in the second quarter. What a game we have seen so far. Offensive foul against Beal. I'll tell you what, more players have hit the deck on both sides in this game than I think any game we've seen so far.
Watch as Kayla Pointer slides over, and you can see she was more vertical on that one than the play we saw earlier with Newby as she slides over, and then on top of that, it's Beal that ducks the shoulder. Right now, LSU feeling a ton of momentum with 5:40 to go here in the second quarter. 11 turnovers already for South Carolina. They come into this ball game averaging 15 a game.
Cherry takes the pass, turns and tries to hit the deep deuce on line, but long off the iron. Saxton up top. She won't shoot from there. This is Henderson. Cook. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Cook tries to drive around Morris, gets it all the way to the rim, and cannot complete it after contact. Here's a heave down to Morris, and she lays it in. Pointer, all the way from backcourt into front court, found her teammate.
Dawn Staley had to call timeout. She was up ready to go when she saw the breakaway for Morris breaking away and had to stop this momentum right now.
5 minutes and 2 seconds are left. The crowd is on its feet. We're in the second quarter. This is the largest lead in the game. LSU 29. South Carolina 18. LSU in front of a packed house, rocking and rolling right now, leading 29-18 over South Carolina. Kayla Pointer for the last 2 seasons has been LSU's leading scorer, and she's hot in the first half.
She's leading them again this year, and she's leading them tonight so far against South Carolina, and she was showing a weakness of the Lady Gamecocks. Anybody watching, look at how often she's getting into the lane. First 2 highlights right at the rim. That time she gets it from 5 feet away. This time at the front of the rim. She has found the opening, and she is beating one man on defense. There's nobody on the backside to help out, and Kayla Pointer has been red hot. 10 points so far tonight on 5 of 8 shooting, the only player in double digits tonight. She's also added 2 rebounds, and you see on the season just under 17.5 points a game with over 5 assists.
If she leads LSU in scoring again this year, that would be the 3rd season in a row that she has been the leading point producer. Cook feeds it inside. There's a triple team down there, but a nice pass into the hands of Saxton for the layup. Somehow South Carolina was able to find Saxton, who was waiting to lay it in.
Beautiful positioning there and a nice bounce pass. And for South Carolina, they needed that coming out of a timeout. It was well executed.
Morris maybe with a bit of a quick release there. Left it short. LSU by 9. There's contact, and Jalen Cherry will be called for the foul.
Long dribble from the baseline all the way across the middle to go for that running, about an 8-10 footer coming across the lane from right to left as you're looking at the basket. Cherry tried to challenge it, but they called it for the foul.
Bree Hall returns to the lineup for South Carolina, and the first free throw is good by Henderson. Henderson twice an SEC All-Tournament team member and a McDonald's All-America. Of course, on this roster, who isn't? 11 McDonald's All-Americas on this one South Carolina roster.
It's amazing to go down the individual biographies of each of these players and find out that they were the number 1 or number 2 ranked person in their class or at their position.
How about that?
Well, Kayla's shaking her head a little bit and she's laughing when she looked at the bench. I don't think she realized she had that much juice behind it there going high off the glass, but she's not going to give those 3 points back.
Is that the first three-pointer of the game?
It's the first attempt for LSU.
South Carolina is called for traveling.
That's 12. South Carolina and Dawn Staley's team now 3 shy of their season average. We still have 3:50 to go in the first half.
LSU on Pointer's basket, 1 for 1 from 3-point range. South Carolina 1 for 4. Newby, based on her reaction, I believe, was called for the foul. That's her second.
And what's surprising is they called the foul on that when she was in a just duking out positioning fight down there on the block, and they called the foul right there off a rebound.
Autumn Newby is not the flashiest player, but she may be the hardest worker. Look at South Carolina returning all 11 players from the Final Four team, number 1 recruiting class, and added Cardoso, a Syracuse transfer. Cardoso, a native of Brazil.
Boy, that was a high miss off the glass, but credit Faustina Fua, who battled through her player that she was guarding to come over, help side, and force that shot to go high and long over the rim.
Kim Mulkey has had a long and successful history of developing post players, and we are seeing Faustina Fua, even though she lost her footing right there, we are seeing Fua really rise the level of her game from what we've seen in previous seasons.
Well, you mentioned it. She's developed that game now from 15 feet in with that little jump shot, but she also has Newby to help do some of the dirty work and Gusters underneath. She doesn't have to shoulder all of the load, but it allows her to be more flexible on the floor.
She just looks more mobile. She looks more confident. She certainly is.
That's the word, is confident.
Is looking inside much more often to try to get some good shots.
How about the hops there by Saxton on that block?
Oh, yeah.
That looked like a breakaway layup on the baseline, and Saxton had none of it.
There's Afua with a defensive rebound. Cherry feeds it up court. Pointer weaving inside, left hand. That looked pretty good when it left her hand, but she didn't get it square enough off the backboard.
Boy, if half the bunnies that LSU has missed so far in the first half are in, this lead would be 6 or 8 points more to the favor of the Lady Tigers.
Your point is extremely apt. Afua knocks it loose and is claiming that she was able to deflect it off the foot of Fagan.
It looked like it went off of her leg. They're not going to overturn it, but Kim Mulkey was looking there saying off the leg. In fact, they just showed it here in the arena, and the reaction you can hear tells you what happened.
Oh, that's clearly off the knee.
Cook just takes advantage of it, a gimme. They got a freebie, South Carolina did, and they took advantage of it as Cook floats in the lane.
That no call, or the call which went South Carolina's way, cost LSU 2 points. But we are back to play, 32-24, LSU leading. Cherry, a difficult shot. It's a little bit short, and the rebound snared by Fagan.
Just surprised with Boston on the bench with 2 fouls for South Carolina that LSU is now settling for outside shots. You would think the Lady Tigers, where they found their success all half long, would be attacking the rim. Anything 15 feet and in.
And they found that success with Boston in the game, but they have not gone back to the attack mode. And now South Carolina on a bit of a roll.
Cook is attacking there. 9 points now on 4 of 8 shooting for Cook.
3 deuces and a triple for Zia Cook. She had 18 points against Mississippi State University. Tigers right now failing on the offensive side. There's contact, and it's going to go back to LSU.
And that foul's going to be called on Cook, which is amazing that she kept charging into it because Morris knocked the ball loose. It looked like it was just going to be out of bounds South Carolina because Morris stuck a hand in there, and she kept going and ran over a Lady Tiger and draws the charge.
South Carolina has scored 8 of the game's last 11 points, cutting 5 points off the Tiger lead. 32-26 now, LSU.
LSU hasn't scored in 3:15 until now. Faustina Fua with that jump shot we've just been talking about. That ends a more than 3-minute drought for the Lady Tigers on the scoreboard.
7 points for Afua. She's hit a couple of sweet jumpers from the free throw line area. Less than half a minute to play in what has been a raucous Maravich Assembly Center tonight in Baton Rouge. Oh, a tough shot. Cook.
Pointer's got time. We saw this against Texas A&M when she ended the first half.
1 second. Pointer gets rid of it. It is no good off the window to end the first half of action. Has it been action-packed? You bet. Has it been loud? You bet. Has it been physical? You bet. This is a heavyweight battle between 2 of the best women's college basketball teams in the first half. South Carolina overcame an 18-point deficit to defeat Stanford. The largest deficit tonight has been 11, so we'll see what this next 20 minutes brings.
You don't get to be number 1 just because somebody wants to give you that number. They are not going to be intimidated or scared down at the break. South Carolina is one of those been there, done that teams.
Oh, have they ever. Just remarkable the last several years. Shot clock at 5. Spinning jumper good off the window. A very nice start for Destiny Henderson. That's her second bucket to go along with a couple of free throws. 6 for Henderson.
Henderson, a preseason All-American selection, preseason All-SEC.
Well, she's also on the Nancy Lieberman watch list. Newbie tries to force it out. Can't make it happen, and here comes South Carolina. They can cut the gap. And a foul call. There will be free throws coming for the visitors. Pointer with the foul. That's her first.
Take another look at it as LSU couldn't convert on the offensive end, and Henderson just puts her head down knowing she's going, and Kayla Pointer not able to move over enough into position, gets called for the block.
Henderson's career best in points is 23. This young lady twice a member of the SEC All-Tournament team, a McDonald's All-America, Florida Miss Basketball in high school.
Look at the grades there from Rebecca Lobo in terms of WNBA potential.
That's an over and back violation. So LSU owns the ball with a tenuous 3-point lead, 9:05 to go in this third quarter.
There's that turnover margin, 14-5. Lady Tigers have done a very nice job protecting the basketball in possession. That number is becoming a problem for South Carolina.
LSU won the first quarter 19-13. The second quarter was a draw at 15 each. And South Carolina has come out of the locker room and can tie with a long ball. And that one rattles out from the wing. Zia Cook couldn't get it to go down. But South Carolina controls the missed shot. Morris almost stripped it out of the hands and did force the South Carolina player to touch it last.
She was able to slap it off of her leg. It's been a good start for South Carolina. Down at the break, they cut into that deficit towards the end of the second quarter, and they've really locked down the defense for LSU trying to get inside of the paint where LSU had so much success in the first half.
Cherry fakes right, dribbles left, then takes it back to the right side, but can't clear for a shot. Pointer on what she thought was going to be a timing play, tried to feed it down to Newby. It just was not there.
No, it wasn't, because South Carolina did a great job sliding the defense down and getting in between Pointer and Newby. That would have been a picture-perfect pass.
The Tigers have not scored in this third quarter. South Carolina trying to tie or take the lead, but those turnovers continue to plague the Gamecocks.
Yeah, that's 15 now. That's their season average. Dawn Staley up off the bench. She was frustrated that they didn't look back towards the top of the key. Henderson was wide open as LSU had sagged back down on defense. They tried to force it down on the baseline and lost possession.
Alexis Morris got a very brief rest and comes back in the game, leaning over the dribble as she moves into front court. 2-16 all-time against number one teams is LSU. The last win came in 2008 against the Lady Bulls. So we'll see if LSU can hold on here. Much basketball to be played in the second half, and the Tigers have not scored since coming out of the locker room at intermission.
2 turnovers for LSU here in the first 3 minutes of the third quarter.
Cook,
no points.
A whirling jump shot, knocks it down. We've got a 1-point game. Zaya Cook has 13 to lead South Carolina. Pointer with the looper, leaves it a little bit short. Afua is fouled. Afua somehow waded in and claimed that offensive rebound and will get some free throw opportunities.
That was a long floater for Kayla Pointer. 12, 14 feet away. She'd just gotten into the lane. That was a long shot to have to go high over a defender. Credit Afua for battling on the glass to get that rebound.
Afua has a chance for her 8th point. There is LSU's first score of the third quarter. So the Tigers went more than 3 minutes before changing the scoreboard. Boston working hard underneath, got a couple of players in the air. Boston will
They
go
gave
to
her
the
the
line.
bucket. They gave her the bucket. Kim Mulkey screaming it was on the floor. Almost looked like an NBA continuation play because she went up so early with the foul.
I think they're going to talk about it. They're going to wave it off.
Here's a look there. You see the body contact by Afua long before she went into the shooting motion.
And the officials have discussed it. They've done the right thing. And they are waving it off, although Dawn Staley obviously is not pleased with the reversal. Here's Boston. She is so maneuverable. She left that one a little short, gets it back, leaves it short again, gets it back and scores.
3 opportunities there. Right in a row, right at the rim, and no Lady Tigers could distract her. Now a defensive rebound by Boston to go the other way.
Newby might have had a hand on that pass, but it's grabbed underneath the rim. Afua is contesting defensively, and a foul called, and Beal will go to the stripe. Bree Beal working very, very hard. That is the 3rd foul on Afua, and that's not good news for LSU.
South Carolina has picked up the tempo, more aggressive in the paint, attacking the glass here. They've locked LSU down on the defensive end. And there you see 3 white jerseys and 1 maroon jersey, but it's Beal doing the battling for the Gamecocks. As you mentioned, 3 on Afua. Kim Mulkey's giving her team every opportunity to try to work their way out of this and battle through it, but you scored 1 point here in the third quarter in almost the first 4 minutes.
Beal has 1 free throw in tonight's game.
7-1 run for South Carolina so far here in the third quarter. 8 if she makes this.
That is the first South Carolina lead since the first period when the Gamecocks held a 9-8 advantage. So here comes the #1 team in the country. A team that has been through wars like this multiple times. Jalen Cherry goes airborne and slaps one away.
Well, that's the tempo South Carolina wants. Cherry was lucky to be able to get that block and not get called, but she timed it well for that block.
Well, the bucket by Morris and a couple of fine defensive plays by LSU, but South Carolina holds on.
Look at Boston just go to work on the paint on the inside. Misses the bunny, gets the rebound,
look
kicks
at
it back
Newby
out.
and Boston battling it out. They are just throwing hits into each other. We have not yet seen a forearm shiver, but something pretty close, and none of these teams are backing down. Boston and Newby really battling. Somehow South Carolina comes out of that scrum with it. Cook draws a foul. It's going to be on Trozzi, I think.
4 on the shot clock. Had to get one up there in the lane, and Trozzi gets called for the body contact.
Victor, South Carolina leads in offensive rebounds 13-4. That's been a big part of their comeback and a big part of their success all season long.
We talked about that at the top, about where this game can be won. We wanted to look at the pacing. We wanted to look at LSU's ability to get to the basket and South Carolina's ability on offensive rebound and second chance points. In the first half, it was LSU finding more success. Right now, first 5 minutes of this third quarter, it's been South Carolina.
Zaya Cook now has 15 points. Pointer was bumped. It appeared that she will go to the line. Trozzi goes back to the bench, and Hannah Gusters checks in for LSU. This will be a couple of free throws coming for Pointer, looking for her first points here in the third quarter after a 13-point performance in the first half. We are tied at 38. It's the fourth time that we have been tied. Pointer and Morris get to the free throw line a lot.
Well, look at the first 2 SEC games. They've been responsible for drawing 18 fouls on opponents, both at Georgia and A&M. But look at the free throw line. Missing opportunities there. You work hard to draw the foul, but they haven't been converting as many as they'd like once they get to the line.
Pointer is 1 for 2 tonight. Morris has not attempted a free throw.
Newby took a shot there by Boston, but they're still letting them play.
That rolls around the rim and drops through.
10th three-pointer on the season for Beal. Shooting 33%, but got the friendly roll.
Pointer had it slapped away. It goes out of bounds. Touched last by the Gamecocks, who lead 41-38.
4:37 left in the third quarter. South Carolina has now taken the lead over LSU 41-38. The Lady Tigers have 4 points in this quarter as a team. Zaya Cook has 4 points by herself for South Carolina. The #1 scorer for the Gamecocks 1 year ago has 15 points on the night so far for South Carolina, and she's done it in multiple ways. Driving to the basket, hitting the long ball. There you see attacking Faustina Fua. Once again, getting into the paint, pulling up with a short little 8-foot jump shot. She has found her rhythm again after having a little bit of a slump in December. 15 points on 6 of 11 shooting. Still the only Gamecock in double digits by a wide margin. Boston has 7, which is second on the team.
We are seeing exactly the reason why she is making her 79th consecutive start for South Carolina.
She was the #1 point guard, #4 overall recruit in the 2019 class to come to South Carolina. We mentioned it earlier. Preseason All-American, All-SEC, and as you mentioned, Lynn, the Ann Myers Drysdale Award watch list.
This is Cherry, uses the left hand, and her shot is blocked. and then saved by Victoria Saxton.
See, and that's where LSU was having success in the first half, getting to the basket. South Carolina clamping down on the defensive end now.
The Tigers take it back, though. Let's see if they can turn it into a point. Pointer going baseline. And a whistle. And
that's going to be a foul on Victoria Saxton.
A little bit of a blocking foul there. That's her third.
Part of the matchup South Carolina didn't want. It looked like Saxton was waiting for somebody to come back and switch with her on a point guard. Nobody did. Pointer attacked her.
Pointer misses with a left hand, and guess who's there for the rebound? Boston is down, though. Looked like she was maybe hitting the chops inadvertently. She's back up and is joining her teammates.
LSU's 1 of 7 here in the third quarter from the floor. Oh, look at the length.
Saxton just keeps it alive after the miss.
Just reach back behind her and grab that with one hand out of that rebound.
Henderson uses the pick. And I think there is an illegal pick there.
And that's going to be on Saxton.
That's her fourth, I think.
Watch here after keeping the ball alive. Keep your eye on number 5 right of the screen. You see how she leans in, leans her upper torso and sticks that leg out on Pointer for the screen and draws the contact. 6 points with 4 fouls, so she'll spend some time on the bench for Dawn Staley.
41-38, South Carolina leads. Write that score down with the player on the bench now. Afua somehow muscles it home.
And that was muscling up against Boston, and that is not easy to do.
No, it is not. Here comes Cherry the other way. 2 on 3. Cherry waits for Pointer. Pointer goes down in the lane, scoops and scores from the right side. The running baby hook.
Well, but look how fast South Carolina gets right back down the floor. I was going to mention how fast South Carolina is getting back on transition defense because LSU is getting that momentum, and Pointer still found a way to go up and under. But just as soon as LSU celebrates for a second, South Carolina's right back down the floor, and Beal hits the layup.
Bree Beal now has 7. Pointer taking it inside again and scores again off the window. Now she did this with some regularity in the first half. LSU could not get that going in the first part of this third quarter, but Pointer on back-to-back approaches has been able to score from point-blank range.
And you see the hesitation dribble that made Brissett come jump out. She got her to commit, and as soon as she went north, Kayla Pointer went south, right to the basket. She played catch-up the whole way and drew the foul.
She's looking for her 19th point. LSU saves it, but then it was taken away.
Yeah,
and then a foul in backcourt. Newby.
She was falling out of bounds and was trying to do something, couldn't get it to Tunier, so she tried to throw it off one of the Gamecock players, but missed it. It went to South Carolina, and then that started the scrum.
Newby and Cherry, Pointer, Afua, and Morris on the floor now for the Tigers. Pointer with 18, Afua with 10, and Morris 10. Those are the 3 in the game right now with double-figure scoring totals.
Dawn Staley is wearing out one of the officials right now.
Henderson at the stripe. .44 apiece. Number 13 LSU, number 1 South Carolina.
LSU averaging over 37 points a game in the paint tonight. 26 still with 2:10 to go in the third quarter. So probably pacing to get at or just above their season average.
Pointer loops it up, can't get it to go off the window, and a foul is called.
You know, I'm wondering, with coaches like Dawn Staley who are wearing a mask, when you pull the mask down to give the official a piece of your mind, does it make it look even worse? You know, you got the mask over your face. You can say anything you want. They never know. But, boy, she throws it down. And I'll tell you, she has been wearing the officials out for the last minute and a half.
Well, Faustine Afua has just drawn her 4th foul. So Afua, who's played very hard, will be on the bench for a while. And free throws coming. This is Lily Grissett. And she misses both of them.
That's 18 free throw attempts for South Carolina on the night. They're 10 of 18. LSU's only gotten to the line 6 times. Or excuse me, 7 times now to 3 of 7.
Gusters with a turnaround jumper, left it short. Boston was defending and rebounds it.
See, if you're Gusters and you're on the bench, you have to watch what Faustina Fu has been doing. If you're going to shoot it, why not attack Boston? You might still miss it, but you could draw another foul.
Boston sets the pick. Morris gets around it. Morris takes it away momentarily down on the baseline and then stepped on the inline. It will stay with South Carolina, 12 on the shot clock. 91 seconds remain in the third quarter. All eyes of the Southeastern Conference are on Baton Rouge tonight. Boston just powers her way in. She is almost, it's like trying to defend a water tower when she gets it right there. She is so big, so strong, so mobile, so quick, so crafty.
Give credit to Auburn Newby, who's been one of the ones battling her all night long. Very physical, as you said, from the outset. She's still trying to bring the fight to her. That is not an easy night.
Look at these numbers in strength improvement and conditioning from one year to the next for Boston.
She wanted to improve her body, fat content, her strength, her ability. She worked out with Tim Duncan over the summer, working on her game. Look at her vertical, 6.3-inch increase on her vertical, but look at the bottom. She's deadlifts 350.
That's me and you combined.
Ooh. That is some kind of strength, and that is some kind of off-season dedication to be able to work out like that, have a goal in mind, and then reach it and then some.
Her free throws make it 46-44. Pointer dribbling under the pressure of Henderson.
A lot of dribbling in this possession.
And the three-pointer by Trozzi does not go.
That wasn't one of LSU's better possessions. A lot of dribbling by Kayla Pointer.
Boston at the top, and we've got a whistle away from the ball. They got somebody on the foul. They got Trozzi on some away from the ball contact. That's her second foul.
Dawn Staley's been calling for this better part of this quarter. She's still in the official's ear, and she just got the call. She's been trying to tell him something all quarter long.
Sanaya Fagan is at the free throw line. She is a 6'3" freshman from Ellenwood, Georgia, and a Gatorade Georgia Player of the Year in high school.
Boy, look at Boston just right over the top of Trozzi for the rebound. If you're going to try to block out Boston, you have to get a body on her and back her away. Trozzi was in the exact position you'd want her to be, but didn't make a move. And watch, Boston goes right over. Look, just reaches right over.
You've got to really stick your backside into her midsection and just try to use all the leverage you can do, because she is so maneuverable with that great size.
Oh, outstanding size, good hands grabbing the ball. Now, if Trozzi jumps, she's probably in good shape. But you stand flat-footed, and Boston will have none of it. She just went over there and took it.
Boston bags the second free throw.
Another double-double for her, which is just another night on the floor for Boston, who goes to the bench now with 50 seconds left in this quarter to avoid any kind of cheap foul situation.
That's her 9th double-double of the season, the 39th of her career. And she will rest the rest of this diminishing third quarter. South Carolina by 3. LSU's biggest lead was 11. There's about a 1 second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Gusters grabs the miss from Cook. From half court, no. Well, South Carolina trailed at the break, and it has taken this huge Maravich Center crowd out of the game momentarily. An effective third quarter for the Gamecocks. We've got 10 minutes left in Baton Rouge.
It was a 19-10 third quarter advantage South Carolina as the top-ranked Gamecocks lead LSU 47-44 as we head into the final 10 minutes of regulation here at the Maravich Assembly Center. Welcome back to Baton Rouge and what has been an outstanding ball game through three quarters and setting up for an outstanding fourth. Oh, Miss Boston, we mentioned it at the top of the program. She's a walking double-double, and she's done it again tonight through three quarters. She missed the last 5 minutes of the second quarter because of picking up two fouls. Dawn Staley protected her so she wouldn't get in foul trouble. She comes out and now has a double-double after three. 7 rebounds in the third quarter. Look at the putback, the fight on the offensive end. She has a double-double already tonight with 1 quarter to go. 10 points, 11 rebounds, 5 on the offensive end, also 2 steals as well. Just look at the numbers here. In Mississippi State, her 7th consecutive double-double, making 8 in a row now for what she's done already tonight. Lynn, I got to tell you, as disjointed as that quarter felt for LSU to only be down 3 points, yes, it was a 9-point quarter for South Carolina. It felt like it could have been a lot worse for LSU.
The Tigers led 34-28 at halftime. They were outscored by 9 in the third quarter. Cherry spins and takes a three and leaves it just an inch or so short on the rim. So South Carolina now with its first possession in the fourth quarter, trying to extend a tenuous 47-44 lead. This is Boston. Kicks it out for what could have been an open three, but the return to Boston, that's never a bad idea.
And you see how she's going right up against Faustina Fua, who's back in the game with 4 fouls, so she can't do anything too aggressively, so Boston has a clean shot at the basket. That's an easy shot from the block.
12 points for Boston. Pointer could not get that short leaner to go. South Carolina now trying to put the foot on the accelerator, leading by 5.
29% shooting for LSU in the third quarter and missing the first shot here in the fourth.
And a triple.
Henderson with another big three from the corner.
That's her first, is it not? Yes, it is. This is the biggest lead for South Carolina, 52-44. Kayla Pointer rips her way into the lane and scores off the window. 20 for Pointer. Tigers trying to battle, trying to get this crowd back into it.
Those are the opportunities you have to have if you're LSU. We talked about this earlier. South Carolina is a been there, done that team. They're used to this. You're number 1 in the country. You always get everybody's best shot. The pressure right now is on LSU. Can they handle the pressure? But South Carolina has overcome that deficit.
And a foul away from the ball on South Carolina. .7:54 to play, fourth quarter action from Baton Rouge. 52-46, the number 1 team in the land owns the lead. 7 minutes and 54 seconds remain in the final quarter. South Carolina had a huge third period and leads 52-46, and the rebounding by South Carolina tonight has been outstanding.
Look at that bottom line. Plus 24 for South Carolina. LSU, a team averaging 44 rebounds a game, has 16 right now. It's a 40-16 rebounding advantage for South Carolina. And of those 40, 24 are defensive for South Carolina. What does that mean? LSU's been limited to 6 offensive rebounds. LSU's not getting any second chance opportunities because South Carolina is swallowing up the second chance opportunities for LSU with defensive rebounds. All those shots that were going in early in the game for LSU have started to fall out, and they're not getting themselves any extra chances to put points on the board.
For the season, the Gamecocks are averaging a little less than 18 points in the fourth quarter. LSU is about 18.5 on the scoreboard in the fourth quarter, so not much margin there between the two teams. We'll see how it plays out over the final 7.5. A leaning jump shot is on the money by Alexis Morris.
I was getting ready to ask you. You know somebody who's been very quiet in the second half, and that's Alexis Morris. I think that's just her second bucket since halftime.
You are correct, and nobody has an answer to Boston. Nobody. When she gets it there, not only is she shooting 57% from the floor for the season, when she gets it down there, that's about 80%. Morris pulls up, and it rolls off. Boston with another rebound.
14 rebounds now for Boston to go with her 14 points.
That's darn near as many rebounds as LSU has as a team.
Yeah. Now
Tigers are still battling, though, down by 6.
And now they've switched off. Faustina Fua was on Boston, but because of her 4 fouls, now Newby is on Boston.
Newby contesting, and Boston spinning to her right with a thin angle. Off the backboard, scores again.
And how about with the dribble, how she fakes one way and then spins around and still gets to the basket. She's such a unique talent on the floor.
Afua from 13 feet hits that jump shot. She's had 3 or 4 of them like that today. And we will take a timeout right now with a 56-50 lead for number 1 ranked South Carolina. South Carolina has come from a sizable first half deficit to take a lead 56-50 with 6:18 to play in the fourth quarter here in Baton Rouge. There is wonderful action coming your way on the ESPN family of networks. January games to watch. Kentucky and South Carolina, that's Sunday at 1 Eastern. Texas A&M and South Carolina, Tennessee and Georgia, LSU and Arkansas, all coming up later this month on the ESPN family of networks as it continues its coverage of SEC women's basketball.
Notice all the teams on that graphic except for Arkansas with a small number to the left of the name. Ranked teams in the top 25 squaring off. And on that 13th, when A&M takes on South Carolina, LSU will host Missouri, the only team to hand South Carolina a loss.
That's next Thursday. Boston trying to work down low again. Let's see against whom the foul is called. I think it's Afua, and if so, that will be the end of the night for her.
Yep. It is. They had Boston come up high on the lane. Faustina Fua tried to challenge her, got her with the body contact. She'll leave the game with 5 fouls, 4 rebounds, 12 points for Faustina Fua on 5 of 7 shooting.
Asia Petty is going to enter the game replacing Afua. Petty, a 6'3" sophomore from Baltimore. So Afua is disqualified on fouls with 6 minutes left. Despondent on the bench. She battled tonight, as did everybody who had an assignment against Boston, but Boston has been just so good, especially after a slow start.
Yeah, that foul trouble she got in the second quarter didn't slow her down at all. It's a nice job by Petty coming into the game and immediately getting a rebound, not giving South Carolina another opportunity.
Morris pulls up, line drives it home.
Boy, did you see the short, quick release, too? Boston came out to challenge her, and she just put up a real quick release to get that ball up and over.
14 for Alexis Morris. Does LSU have another run in it here over the last 5.5 minutes?
Well, that foul's on Autumn Newby, once again trying to battle on the inside.
That's her 4th.
Go back to the other end and watch the quick release as Boston's going to come out to challenge her and watch. Whoop, just gets it out of her hands very quickly. That's why it was a little flat, but she had the nice touch knowing Boston was coming at her.
That is a big, big three-point shot by Destiny Henderson.
I mean, just no emotion, just calm, cool, and collected in the corner. After LSU cuts it to 4 and just drained the corner 3.
She's had a 10-point second half, 14 on the night. Pointer sneaking inside and rolls it in from the left side with the right hand.
22 for Pointer, but now the question is becoming, can LSU get a stop? And specifically, can they stop this woman right here?
Boston working inside. That time was unable to finish. Morris has to get rid of it. Pointer comes to her aid. Boston slaps it down. It will stay with LSU. 4:28 to play. 59-54. South Carolina by 5. This is Morris from the feed by Pointer.
You can almost sense Morris just wants the ball in her hands to try to do what she did against Texas A&M, try to pick her game up. She's been quiet in the second half. Boy, possession is now so important for LSU. If you're able to make a stop, what you've struggled to do in the second half, for the Lady Tigers, you have to score on the other end.
Asia Petty slapped that ball loose, but it's recovered by Henderson for South Carolina. We slide under the 4-minute mark. 59-54. Every possession is critical. Henderson pulls up, misses badly. The rebound hits the deck, and here come the Tigers. Cherry on the move. Cherry pulls up. Cherry scores.
That's one stop for LSU. Now can the Lady Tigers get another, because the crowd has gotten back into this game.
That bucket by Cherry was her first of the second half, and it came at a big time. 3-point game. Henderson fakes, pulls up, leaves it short. Rebound hits the deck. Touch last by South Carolina as it trickles out of bounds.
Looks like it went off the foot of Saxton that time as she was battling underneath with Newby. They couldn't get possession of the ball. It goes out of bounds, and LSU now with a possession and a chance to tie if they were to get a three. Not that they need it. That hasn't been their shot all night, but they fought their way back.
Here comes Cherry. Picked up the rebound. Surveys the court. And pulls up and nails it. And that is a big, big bucket for her. Her first of this half after 4 points in the first half. And that brings LSU to within 3 with 3:05 to go. Victor, we were rhetorically asking, does LSU have one more run in it? It hasn't yet qualified perhaps as a run, but nonetheless, the lead is one possession for the #1 team in the land against number 13.
Yep, and that's because they've put together back-to-back stops. That's something they have had a hard time doing here in the second half. Boston has been so dominant in the paint for South Carolina, but South Carolina's gone north of 2 minutes without a score. They're 0 for their last 4 are the Gamecocks from the floor. And that's where LSU has now hit 2 in a row, and that's all it's taken. That's why I mentioned, out of the third quarter, it felt like South Carolina should have had a much bigger lead, but LSU's hung in there enough to make this little run and get right back in it.
The Tigers have scored 8 of the last 11 points in the game. A long three. Morris couldn't get it to go. Newby battles and comes away with it. Pointer!
Feeling it too much there. Newby took a clothesline to the face. LSU didn't need to force that three-pointer. They don't need it. There's plenty of time.
There were 18 seconds left on the shot clock when that shot was launched.
Yeah, it's almost like you're feeling it too much. The crowd wants you to hit a big shot, but a two-pointer would be huge. It doesn't have to be a three.
Boston battling underneath. Newby comes away with it. There is a whistle. Both Newby and LSU's Petty were battling for it against Boston.
Boy, Boston is so strong underneath. Watch the possession. Here come two Lady Tigers. Watch where she holds that ball and just muscles her way back through it. Like if they got Newby, it was on the slap down on the ball, and so that's her fourth.
Boston lines it up and scores.
You know, your best chance is to try to just go vertical and see if you can catch an official to call Boston for an elbow in a clear-out. She's just so big and strong. Just out-muscles whoever's trying to defend her to get up to the glass.
61-56, 2:26 to go, fourth quarter. 18 points, 15 rebounds for Boston. Gusters down low, put it right up confidently and scores with Boston trying to defend. Hannah Gusters' first bucket. That's a big one for LSU.
And that was designated. She had just come into the ball game as they let Petty go back to the bench, and they went right down on the block for her to challenge. Take another look at it as Pointer comes to the wing. Look how she clears position. I mean, look where she is, right under the rim.
That's
great
perfect.
job of keeping the body position separate from Boston. Boston's trying not to get the foul, and she puts it up and in. Well, Boston still only has 2 fouls. She left halfway through the second quarter with 2, still has 2, so she might have been a little passive down there, but Gusters challenged her, and she decided to back off of it.
You know, there's a legendary ship in the port of Boston, Massachusetts, called Old Ironsides, the Constitution.
Yes, indeed.
That's the way she plays. She is so powerful down low.
Super strong. Take a look at our recap here. Kayla Pointer with her 22 points. Boston, a double-double. She had that after 3 quarters, just keeps adding to it. The story right now, it used to be the turnovers, but South Carolina, just 6 turnovers in this half. Right now, it's that middle line. 44 rebounds to LSU's 23. And South Carolina's been so dominant as of late on the defensive side, not letting LSU get any second chances.
And yet it's a one-possession game, so tighten the seatbelts as we get set for the final 2:14 in regulation.
Boy, you just think for LSU as well, those 2 3-pointers. LSU's only taken 4 in the entire game, and 2 of them came on 1 possession. Morris with the miss. Pointer got it and took up a really quick 3-pointer when there was 18 seconds on the shot clock. Don't have to have a 3. There are so many possessions still to go in this ball game. Just a 2-pointer attacking the glass would be huge for LSU. But for the Lady Tigers, it all comes on the defensive end. Can you get another stop against what's been a powerful Gamecocks team here in the second half?
Cook, Henderson, Boston, Saxton, and Beal on the court right now for South Carolina. Newby, Cherry, Pointer, Gusters, and Morris defensively for LSU. Less than 2 minutes to go. Boston again. Misses. Newby hit the deck. Boston somehow runs that down. She is a force. Even after a miss, she was able to hold on to the possession. Shot clock at 6. Shot clock at 2.
Didn't hit the rim. Shot clock violation. Kim Mulkey wanted him to run. Pointer was off to the races trying to go fast break. That's why you see bottom right of your screen, Mulkey's upset because she was ready to roll with the fast break, but the shot went on the backboard over the rim. Shot clock violation.
So LSU, which does not produce a lot of points from out court in 3-point range, has a chance right now trailing by 3 to tie it. This is a 1-possession game.
Look, saying that you need a must-have possession, those are hard to come by, and that might be tough to describe. This is a must-have possession in LSU. In and out for Morris.
Morris got to the rim, and it just rolled around and spun away.
What you see on your screen is why I was saying that was a must-have possession. More than 4 minutes now for South Carolina since they've made a field goal. You can't miss bunnies like that if you're LSU.
Shot clock at 10. Boston nearly lost it, kicks it out. Shot clock at 4. That's a huge bucket from Cook.
Boy, and Cook just held
Zaya Cook. Boy,
held that free
good.
throw. Held that follow-through, too. Driving the lane like that, elevating over the defense.
Tigers now need to really hustle. Down by 63-58. Precious seconds are moving off the clock. Pointer from way back misses badly. And South Carolina is half a minute away from coming from behind in the first half and extending, not only extending the lead, but holding on to it as the Gamecocks.
Oh, Kim Mulkey is about to lose her jacket. Jalen Cherry got the rebound trying to go back up. They ruled it at first that it was a shooting foul. Dawn Staley was screaming, saying no. They changed the call now to go baseline instead of sending Jalen Cherry to the line. On what LSU is arguing, she got the rebound and a putback. Let's take another look here. Watch Cherry on this miss. Does she grab it and go in one motion like she's going up right there? Here it is again from the baseline. Cherry in. I mean, the motion with that arm that goes up would make it look like she was trying to shoot and got pulled down by Beal. And that's the way they originally ruled it.
LSU's coaching staff is trying to get somebody on the court to look at the replay up on the huge scoreboard, but that's not going to sway the officials on the call. 30.4 seconds to go. South Carolina 63, LSU 58. We said at the outset, Victor, this is going to be a heavyweight battle, and it has been.
I think they're checking something else out, too, about the timeout call.
LSU is 1 for 5 in three-point shooting tonight, if you're thinking long ball.
Well, if she's not shooting free throws, the long ball absolutely has to come into play. If you can get a wide open quick two, you take it right away. But now the long ball is certainly in play. And you can't waste a lot of time to do it.
Morris from way back. It will go to South Carolina. Newby may have touched it last. .21.5 seconds to play. You've mentioned it a couple of times, Victor. This South Carolina team has been in these types of battles wearing the #1 ranking or something very close to it for many, many, many years in a row. And they have experienced this in just about every court to which they play. And they've had 5 wins this year against top 10 teams already. That's against top 10 teams.
And not all of those are at home. They've got no problem going to play on the road. An example, Stanford, when they went all the way to the West Coast, they were down double digits, came back and got that win. But yeah, when you're #1 for as long as South Carolina is, you know how to handle everybody's best shot. And as you mentioned it, 11 McDonald's All-Americans on this roster. And all these women on that floor, they're not first-timers. So they've been there, done that. The pressure turned to LSU. Could they keep up with the pace when South Carolina threw the counterpunch, and in the third quarter they couldn't?
Newby fouls out. She had to commit the foul. And Boston goes right back to the line, working on 18 points and 17 rebounds.
And with everything else she's done tonight, she's also 6 of 8 from the line. Been a good free throw shooter. With as physical as this game has been, she's done an excellent job at the free throw line for the Gamecocks.
And despite the fact that she picked up 2 fouls early in the first quarter, she has not committed a foul since then.
Boston's a 70% free throw shooter on the year.
It is still a 2-possession game, 16.7 seconds to go. LSU trails by 6. And now, Victor, there is little hope but to somehow clear a quick release 3 with a decent chance of going in. The Tigers have not shot many 3 balls tonight. They are 1 for 6 from out court.
4 of those 6 have come here in the fourth quarter. The 2 desperations back-to-back by Morris on the miss, and then the wild shot by Pointer, and then 2 here in the last couple of possessions to try to get it in. But you're right. There's no wiggle room now. There's no more room for error. You've got to get this ball in and look for a clean three-pointer coming off a curl, some sort of a screen to open up a shooter. You've got to get a good look, a quick turn, and hope that it goes in. Then you play defensive foul immediately.
Pointer has the only 3-pointer for LSU today, and that was in the first half. Jalen Cherry knocks it down. Did they say 3 or 2? I believe that's a 2-point shot. That is a 2-point bucket. Pitcher throws it in. That's close, but I guess that right foot, the toe of that right foot might have been on the stripe.
That angle is a bad angle to see, but if so, what a costly mistake to let that right foot slide. And we're talking inches, half an inch. They're going to take a look at it to confirm. It's a tough angle from the backside.
Neither team has a timeout left. That could be a factor. The officials will check the tape.
Just watch the right foot as she goes to plant the left. Here comes the right. And you just, boy, it's so tough to tell. I mean, we're literally talking the toe of her right foot to launch, whether or not that was a 2 or a 3. Originally on the floor, they called this a 2-point field goal. I'm not sure if LSU's aware of that yet, or at least if Kim Mulkey's aware of it, because you're certainly game planning to try to get a stop and hope for another 3. Because immediately after the shot, the timeout was called.
So we will find out.
Under review was a 2-point basket at 13.2 by LSU. The call is confirmed it is a 2-point basket.
Okay, so you hear what we hear in our headsets. That was Pualani Spurlock Welsh, who is the referee tonight, explaining that that indeed was confirmed as a 2-point shot.
So now being down 2 possessions, this just has to be an immediate foul. There's no time to even worry about trying to make a steal.
So even though you get the bucket, you're still down 2 possessions.
Absolutely, that's the key. They've got nobody on Boston right now, which is a huge mistake. They're going to go all the way back down the court just to kill time. There's the foul.
Cherry had to foul Saxton.
So Saxton hasn't been to the line tonight on the season. 40%, 6 of 15 on the year. This will be her first attempts tonight.
She has not scored in the second half. She had 6 first-half points. She has grabbed 7 rebounds. "11 seconds remain. LSU right now down by 4. A second free throw coming. Boston pulls off the rebound. My goodness. Even on a missed free throw, Boston is there to control the backboard.
Yeah,
18 rebounds for Boston to go along with 19 points.
Hannah Guster's on the side with her. The only thing you have to do is box out, get a body on her in case there's a miss so you can go the other way. And Boston still figured out a way to get the all-important rebound.
So Henderson makes it a 65-60 game with 6.5 seconds to go. That's going to do it for LSU. Tigers take a late 3 off the mark by Pointer, and this game is over. The first half belonged to LSU. The second half belonged to South Carolina by a bigger margin. And the Gamecocks hold on with a comeback effort, Victor, and play well down the stretch in the third and fourth quarters to beat LSU by 6.
As you said, we mentioned it, been there, done that team. 7th win now for South Carolina against a top 15 team. From the outset, we knew this would be a physical, intense matchup. It lived up to it. But South Carolina came into Baton Rouge and showed why they're number 1 and what it takes to try to knock off the best in the land. An outstanding second half, an unbelievable game performance for Boston. LSU gave it everything they had, but just not enough tonight to beat the Gamecocks.
So the 13-game winning streak for LSU is over as South Carolina gets the win, and the Tigers suffer only their second defeat of the season and go to 2-1 in Southeastern Conference play. The Gamecocks are now 2-0.